Hey guys, it's Ethan. Check out my sponsors for today's video, BetterHalf.com. They provide a social approach on sports betting that is revolutionizing the game. You can participate from anywhere in the country, and they offer sports betting pools run by a number of different influencers. So you pick the pool, the influencers make the pick, and you're notified 10 minutes before the start of the game. Currently, they have NCAA and NBA basketball available and are also offering a $20 sign-up bonus when you make your first deposit. So let them know I sent you there, and good luck to you guys.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today's session, I'm gonna go over the hands get a little crazy, very crazy. Get into a $2,200 pot all in pre-flop. So yeah, gonna get in some interesting spots, and we'll go over some hands. So let's get into it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Also, if you're watching, please leave a like down below. Really do appreciate it. Appreciate all the support and the comments and everything so far. So let's keep that rolling, and let's get into the first hand. First hand we'll go over, we are in the cutoff with Jack 10 off suit and button straddle. So full suit under the gun player, who makes it $20, and I am the only caller. So heads up to a flop of 9 queen 6 with 2 hearts. He leads out for $25, and I will raise it up to $65. Just increasing the size of the pot, realizing equity, maximizing fold equity, all that fun stuff. And he makes the call, so heads up to the turn. Turn comes the King of Hearts, so it completes all the draws. I do have a redraw with the Jack of Hearts, I guess, which isn't really a great one. But once he checks to me, I down bet to $75, keeping his entire range intact and just making him call with worse pairs or something like that. Maybe like pocket 10s or pocket 8s with the 10 or 8 of hearts maybe. Just trying to keep his entire range intact and not trying to lose him if I am still ahead. So I down bet to 75, and he really uncomfortably calls. And then the river is a 7 of hearts, so 4 hearts on the board now, and I have a Jack high flush. He leads out in jams for $116, not a whole lot behind, and honestly, with so much in the middle, I could be good here with my Jack. So kind of priced in. I don't think I'm ahead a lot of the time here, but in this spot with so little behind, I kind of have to call. He shows a 10 of hearts, and I win that one with the Jack high flush. So I think I played it decently. I don't know. I think he just played it pretty bad and just took advantage of his mistakes, but we got there. Next hand, I'm in the small blind with Jack 10 of diamonds, and I am on one of the most action-filled tables at MGM Springfield. So when it's so much action going on and everyone's straddling and everyone's just going like 4 ways to a flop with $20, I'm gonna have to be a little more aggressive and just trying to isolate more. So an under the gun player raises to $15. I have in my notes he's a regular 2-5 player. 3 callers behind him, and actions onto me in the small blind out of position, trying to isolate once again, just be as aggressive as I could be. I 3-bet to $75. The under the gun player calls, and the cutoff calls as well. So we're 3 ways to the flop of Queen Jack 8 with 2 clubs. I'm first to act. I have a marginal hand, a marginal pair. A lot beats me, and it's a real draw heavy board, and I guess I block some of the potential draw possibilities like King 10 or whatever with the 10 in my hand. But regardless, I think I just have to c-bet and continue out here, and I bet 125. The undergun player calls, and the cutoff folds. So got one person out of the way, still another person that I need to fold out here, and the turn is a 6 offsuit. So definitely a total brick on this board, unless, yeah, no, just a total brick. And similar stack sizes I have in my notes here, so we're basically essentially the same stack size, and I'm first to act. I check, inducing. I don't know why I checked. It's just I don't know, man. I just checked, and he quickly jams, and he covers me by a little bit. I think at this point I have about 300-ish in front of me, and he covers that by a little. And it just seemed weird. I feel like Ace Queen wouldn't jam in this spot, or it would jam in this spot actually, but it just seemed like he had a ton of just, I don't know, he just really wanted to get me off the hand, and it didn't feel right. That's all. That's my notes. That's what they say. I just didn't believe him, didn't feel right, and I wanted to hero call, and I tank for maybe a minute or so before making the call with my jack. And honestly, I was hoping for a pretty good river card, maybe a 10 or another jack or something, and it doesn't come through. So it was an absolute brick. I totally forget what it was. He shows ace king, and I win that one with the hero call with a pair of jacks there. So it was a very marginal call, and honestly, against anyone else or against, I just don't call that a lot of the time, but it worked out in that specific hand. So there's that. Next hand here, I have 4-5 of diamonds in middle position. We're playing six-handed, and pretty big stack. I have about 900 in front of me. So short-handed, 4-5 of diamonds. There's two limps to me, and I'm gonna raise it up to $15. Just trying to isolate, get heads up or whatever. Small blind calls, and under the gun player calls, who has been playing every single hand for the last 3 hours and every hand after that. So he was on the table. So this under the gun player, he's been on the table. I played with him in this session for maybe 12 hours, and I think he played 98% of the hands and limped or raised in every single one of them. So just background information, he's playing any two, and not really the great method for success here. So we go three ways to the flop, and the flop comes 2-3-5 with two diamonds, flopping the absolute world. Top pair, open-ended straight flush draw, like literally everything you can name. So I'm in position. They both check to me, and I'll make a very small bet of $20. It's 20 into 45. I wanted callers, and they both call, which is phenomenal. And the turn is a 7 of diamonds, so my little baby flush gets there. There's a lot of bad river cards that I want to see, like any diamond besides the ace or the 6 of diamonds. But besides that, any diamond hurts me a lot. And I'm really just trying to charge the max. So small blind checks. Under the gun player, who actually ends up betting $50, and he only has about 90 behind. So with such a small stack, I hate playing against small stacks. I would call a lot of the time. I would call if he was deeper, but honestly, just gonna rip it in there. Actually, I lied. I wouldn't ever call if he was deeper. I would still raise in this spot with the baby flush. So never mind. Disregard that. But with 90 behind, I'm just gonna rip it in. I jam. The small blind player folds, and the under gun player calls. The river is the magical ace of diamonds. Cue the in casino footage. So shout out to the dealer. You know who you are if you watch the vlogs. But yeah, thanks for letting me record that. But river the straight flush. Unfortunately, no high hand. But for all the people who follow me on Instagram saw that clip. So yeah, there's that. So it's my first straight flush ever. I win a very small pot, unfortunately. I wish he had so much more. Oh, if he was so much deeper, I literally would have stacked him and made so much money. But that's very cool for that to hit there. So yeah, we scooped that one with a straight flush. This next hand here, we have 6-9 of hearts on the button, and I'm a pretty big stack at this point with about 1,400 behind. So 3 limpers to the cutoff, who makes it $5. I decide to call, and the small blind makes it 25, so he essentially 3-bets at $25. The middle position and cutoff call, and with $5 in there with a suited 3-gapper, I make the call as well. So we are 4 ways to the flop of 2, 3, 4 with 2 hearts and a club out there. The small blind player C bets for $40, and that is such a tiny bet into a $100 bet pot. So it folds to me. So I mean, I'm getting mixed in with a real trash and marginal hand here, but given the player types, like I felt like I could definitely just beat all the players or my competition on the table. So that's why I just decided to play extremely loose, and his bet just seems so weak. Obviously, there's no way he connected with this board, but also him having a higher pocket pair, I think you bet so much bigger to flush out the flush draws or over cards that may come and all that stuff. So he bets 40. I'm just trying to take it down here with all my equity. I raised it 120, and he tank calls. He thinks for a long time on the flop and then calls. So obviously he's pretty weak. and he probably just has 2 overs and maybe the ace of hearts to kind of, I don't know, it's just like as a blocker for the flush draw. The turn is a 9 of clubs, so I turn top pair and there's 2 clubs on the board, so now there's 2 flush draws out there. I am almost confident I have the best hand. He checks, and in case he's either drawing for clubs or drawing for hearts or whatever, I decided to bet really big and kind of look polarized. I bet $225, and he has about 325 behind. He thinks for maybe 2 seconds and jams, and I just snap it off for about $100 more. And the river is the king of hearts, so my flush gets there, and I really still don't know if I'm good or not, but he shows the ace of hearts and says he has ace high, and I'm good. Or ace of diamonds, I mean, I'm good there. So he didn't even have the ace of hearts, I lied. So that was crazy. Later in the session, he said he had ace jack. He jammed with ace jack, and I got in there with, obviously, like, overwhelmingly the best hand, so I was gifted some money, and we took that one down. This hand, under the gun, with $1,700 in front, I have pocket aces. Under the gun, I open up to $15. Under the gun, I sometimes debate whether opening to $12 or $15, but with aces here, I gotta go on the bigger side, so I go to 15. And my player to my left calls, the middle position player calls, and a button who is a huge stack. He has about 1,100 in front of him, so both of us are pretty huge stacks in a 1-2 game. He 3-bets to $55, and it folds to me, and I think it's weird. I think I could flat and just try to trap a lot of time there, but with all those callers behind me, I definitely need to isolate, and I 4-bet to 175. And both of the players called, they got in my, both of them fold, got in my left, and the middle position player fold. Action onto the button, who jams for $1,077. I snap call, and yeah, that's how that one ended up. So I got aces versus kings. Obviously, his heart sank, and there was a lot of deliberation between getting all the chips in the middle and until when the flop happened. So I definitely should have recorded a lot of this, and I definitely should have recorded it when a king came on the flop. Flop comes king 10 brick, and I just kind of blacked out for the next 5 minutes there. And yeah, he has kings. He spikes the king on the flop. Flops top set against my aces, and we lose a $2,200 pot in a 1-2 game. I couldn't tell you what the turn or the river was. It was just heartbreaking. I literally remembered asking the dealer, like, could you please run this twice? It's a policy that you can't at the casino I play in, and I was just like really hoping to run it twice because honestly, I'm ahead by so much. I think I'm an 80% favorite, but like just having $2,200 in the middle in a 1-2 game was more. It's just not what I wanted, and especially to lose in that fashion sucks. So that could have been a really big pot that I could have won. It still hurts to this day, and this happened like over a month ago. So yeah, lose a really big one with aces. I got it all in with the best of it, with the nuts, obviously pre-flop, and that changed very quickly. It was on the window too. So I wish I could have gotten footage of that, but I didn't. That's all I have to say. Aces versus kings, $2,200 pot pre-flop. Lost it with a king on the flop. So not more to say about that. I wish I could say more. I wish I could elaborate more, but nice hand by him. He plays really well, and I see him a lot at 1-2. So if you do watch this vlog, and if you are watching this, nice hand. He got the best of it that time. The very last hand that I will go over, I have 5-6 offsuit, under the gun +2 with about 700 in my stack. I've been playing for a long time, and built it back up from that awful travesty of losing aces versus kings. But under the gun makes it $6, and it goes 6 ways to the flop. So I call, and it's just mayhem. It's way back to mayhem in this table. So flop comes 2, 3, 4 rainbow. So on a rainbow board, flop the absolute nuts. when the under the gun player checks, obviously I will check. Checks to a cutoff player who bets $17. 4 callers, including myself. So we're still going multi-way. I'm never gonna raise in this spot. So then the turn comes the 8 of spades. That brings 2 spades on the board, and obviously it's time for me to do something. And having the plan to check raise in the spot 100% of the time. So it checks to the cutoff player again, who's Angelo. Shout out to you. I know you watched the vlog. You bet $75, and it folds back to me. Time to make a move. I raised to 225, and he jams for 300 total, so only 75 more. I quickly make the call. He shows ace-5 for the lower straight. I flip mine up, and the river is a 6. So, yeah, man, I guess he kind of sucked out on me, and we chopped that one up, unfortunately. So, that's unfortunate as well. So, not running really well in this session. That was the last interesting hand that I'll go over here. I played for 15 hours, guys. This was only 6 hands out of the 15-hour session that I played. I was in for 500, and I was out for, I don't really know yet, but I'll let you know in like 2 seconds once I check my app. Let's take a look. I was in for 500, and I was out for 1029. $500. It could have been a $3,000 session, but not how it worked out. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and like I said, poker's a shitty game. You love and hate it, but now I'm just ranting about that aces hand. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. I gotta end this video right now.